How's it going, Scorpio community? Now y'all know who it is. It's Soul Tigers with a special story for this wonderful frequency. Thank you for your time, your energy, and your patience as I navigate between the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, and everything in between in this story. And remember that this is a safe and sacred place where we call in the angels, ancestors, guides, as well as divine and universal energies to come in and be the guides and protectors for all the positive messages that are to be received today. Now, keep in mind that this is not for love tarot. I don't do love tarot. What we're doing here is all geared towards self-empowerment. That means building the stepping stones for us getting connected to our soul being, which helps connect us to a higher power. So let's go ahead and get started with the vibe for the Scorpio. So Scorpio, in this story, walking away from what once was. Could there be a truth that comes to light that helps the Scorpio in this story see the bigger picture as to why certain things happen with people and places in their life? Yes, these others can be important, but what is your truth? How do you feel? Or how did it make you feel? This is really important. Sometimes when y'all are being the guardian angels for everyone else, you guys put your feelings on that back burner. And then you deplete yourself trying to be there for everyone, showing everyone how much you care. And something that came in that was guided, and I have a feeling it could be an ancestor, it could be a guide. I'm not seeing angel. And I quote, something to be observed is if their truth makes you hold your truth back. Whoever it is that you're dealing with, whatever it is that you're dealing with as well. If their truth makes you hold your truth back, then that may be something that you need to sit back and you need to observe. And you need to feel if that's right for you or if it's not right for you. You may need to learn how to walk away again this time. It is for you. Your truth is what is acceptable by you. What is your passion? How does this passion drive you? And that card kept coming up. What is your passion? What is your passion? Because we know that the Scorpio frequency is very passionate about helping others. That's a wonderful thing to do, is to be that guardian angel that always wants to be there to show people that somebody cares. But the whole thing is, are you showing up for you? When it's time for you to be truthful with yourself, are you being truthful with yourself? Or are you holding yourself back for others' truths? I'm not sure what's going to happen in this story today, but let's go ahead and get started. So I have the Unicorn Oracle right here. Let's ease into the introduction here. All right, guides and ancestors, what is it that needs to come out? Oh my goodness. Well, let's take it all right away. Ooh, here we go. First thing that we are seeing is strength. This challenge will make you stronger. You will get through to the other side. Look for the gifts in this situation. I do have a little bit of a feeling that you're taking on maybe a past side to yourself. It could be a hint of the shadow side too. But this is a multiple dimension kind of lesson for you. It may be reaching back even into the wounded child a little bit for the Scorpio in this story. So let's continue. Innocent. Take time to play. Nurture your inner child. Live with childlike sense of wonder. Sometimes in the hustle bustle of life, we really forget about that inner child that we have. We're too busy trying to make it from point A to point B to paying all our bills that we don't have time. We don't have time to process. We don't have time to play. We don't have time to connect with others in an innocent way. It doesn't have to be anything that's alluring. I'm hearing alluding. I'm hearing like, it doesn't have to be something where you have to be so connected with somebody. It doesn't have to be like a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend. To have innocent fun with people, you just need somebody who is of a gentle nature around you. Somebody who has that higher sense. It could be almost like a nurturer around you. And you could find strength in that. This could actually be a little bit of a mentor energy here as well. Let's continue. Hope. Stay positive. The worst is behind you. Look up to the light. You've made it this far. And you've made it this far for a reason. Don't forget that. Let's see what I have here. Miracles. Oh, somebody doesn't believe in those anymore. Let's see. Have faith that your miracle is on its way. Your prayers have been answered. Surrender the how. I believe I ended up selecting the unicorn oracle now because there is a sense of belief, there's a sense of hope, there's a sense of having a innocent view into things again instead of having such a hard view into life. What has happened? What you have went through for the Scorpio in this story. Last one, dance. Move your body to music. Dance with the rhythm of life. Manifest your dreams through dance. Creative expression. Even dance is a creative expression. You don't have to go take a class for that. It's simply putting on your favorite tune that brings up a childlike happiness in you, where you're able to move your body around without feeling like you're having judgment of yourself, getting a little silly. And being okay with being a little silly for that moment. Sometimes when we take off that serious hat and we're able to have a little fun, we can actually start to recover a little bit because we are not always focused on those stressors. There may be something that you observe, something that you feel when you take off that adult hat for a little bit. That adult hat that has to have certain things. That adult hat that has to... How do I want to put this? That adult hat that has to run after everything else. Everything else and forgetting about themselves. One thing that I love to tell my clients is this life is very hard to live. And some of the things that I speak about, you cannot find in our educational system. I grew up in the era where there was still home ec, where they would teach us how to take care of ourselves. But now they've did away with that. They're not teaching these children how to take care of themselves on that level. Just like they didn't teach us how to take care of our emotional selves. And they kind of tried to introduce how to take care of our physical beings, but it was very superficial in a sense. It was nothing that was in-depth or that was, or could have been relatable in our adult lives if you think about it. So let's go ahead and get into the present. What is going on for this frequency in the present? So in a sense, you have a Queen of Pentacles who's confused, who reflects back in a time where they kind of had to just let things happen. For some reason, there was no control at this time. What was happening, they couldn't have an opinion in it. What was happening was kind of what I'm getting as the image of a freight train, just kind of plowing through their life. It was all that way of that freight train. It was like you're either in the way of the freight train, and if you're in that way, you're going to get hit by it. If you step out of the way of the freight train, though, then it goes through as it wants to go through. This freight train, whatever this freight train was, it wasn't the Scorpio, but it was an outside factor. And what I get with this outside factor is it could have definitely had more than one person involved in it. People who were around the Scorpio who could have been something that was supposed to be of a fulfilling kind of nature. But what I get is these others, they weren't really there. It was up to Scorpio to fulfill them and themselves in a sense. And because Scorpio wasn't in an environment where they could have these strong boundaries up, or even learn how to block things and the lessons from unblocking stuff, they weren't able to acquire because there was a sense of always having to be open to what was going on. Never having a choice. Never seeing a fair outcome. Could have been a fair kind of stability within this environment. What I get is there was a lot of denial in the environment with the Tower in reverse. This all falls onto innocence. So this could go back to the child, that inner child in them. What else needs to come out? 2 more cards here. So confused on the outlooks that we have, the directions that we go, even the directions that we take others with us. Who are these others that come with us? Who are these others? Let me show you that way. I have these others. One is focused for them and the other one is overly focused on what the other one's doing. This was that openness. Always having to focus on somebody else. It could have been that there was a Scorpio here who was a mediator or is still a mediator in an environment. Always trying to make sure to keep the environment copacetic, keep everything calm, keep everybody, what I'm hearing is sane. Because if not, they might act a little crazy. So that means that the Scorpio in this story is very empathic. That's what that would tell me. If you have that power of observation, especially being able to notice how people's moods are going to affect the environment, you definitely could be an empath here. What else needs to come out? Oh yeah, I think you are an empath. You're also an empress, but this empress is very confused. Very confused on who they are, what they've been gifted with. That gift could be the way that they are the guardian angel, the fact that they have such a big heart in such a cold world, it feels like. This because I have a Scorpio here who struggles with their own reflection. What they're doing for others is at the same time, because they struggle so much, is it kind of depletes the hope. And it definitely makes them feel like miracles are not possible. Not in this life, not at this age. What else do I have here? I have a Page of Cups in reverse. It's definitely a big emotional side to this Scorpio that was either exposed to a really unbalanced environment, or at the core of Scorpio, they feel like their emotional side is very unbalanced. Unbalanced to where if they were to stand up for their truth, they would be met with people who are calling them immature, could be calling them selfish, could be definitely wanting to point the finger back at them. It's not my fault you feel that way. That's all your fault. But let's go ahead and get a clarity card. What is the clarity card for the Page of Cups? Oh, that's a lot. And it's actually pretty cut and dry right here. So, first one is the Page of Swords. To clarify, this Page of Cups signifies a person under 30, intelligent, confident, and responsible. Intimidates others and challenges them to keep up. Thrives on extreme sports and outdoor activities. Represents designers, artists, builders, manufacturers, those who work with their hands or create physical objects. Listen to their words and heed their advice. Then we have the Hangman. The card of contradictions, confusion or confusing time ahead. Do the opposite of what your instincts tell you to do. Peace of mind comes from making the decision. Put aside any selfish interest. It may be necessary to sacrifice in order to achieve success. Instead of trying to control situations and people, leave them alone. And the last one, this King of Cups in reverse, indicates a person over 40, a secretive, elusive person who is plotting against you, openly bigot and narrow-minded. This person holds a grudge. They may be involved in difficult moral decisions. You may lose your virtue, innocence, or money through this person. Do not trust them with your heart or possessions. So we have the Page of Swords. Cardinal energy right there. Is the cardinal energy is Libra. That's balancing. I have the Hangman, which is Pisces. Mutable energy, I believe. King of Cups is going to represent all that water energy right there. I believe, I feel. And what is that last one? I desire. Right here, I get that this could have been definitely been pulling at the Scorpio in this story for a long time, for many, many years, many past selves. And when I say past selves, I don't mean past lifetimes. What I mean past self could be a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 20 plus years ago. Our past selves are just our different versions of us that we've had through this lifetime. And what I get here is definitely I have an intuitive Scorpio. An intuitive Scorpio. Remember, I told you you're also empathic. So it's, you can see stuff that is coming ahead. You can see the moods of others. You can see how people's choices, businesses' choices, if not done in a nice manner, you can see the karma that's going to come and hit them. Or you can see the effect to the cause. But the thing is if you try to save anybody, you try to save them, whoever, person, place, or thing, it always came back and bit this Scorpio in the butt. It seems like the more the Scorpio tries to save people, the more people get upset with them. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let's keep going. Let's keep on moving. All right. So coming out to confirm that this has to do with the community here, I have this Four of Wands. It's definitely 3 people in the mix. One of them was really distracted with stuff that they were doing. And again, another was really distracted with what that other was doing. While we had a Scorpio here off on their own, kind of looking off at that bigger picture, not focusing on what everyone else was focusing. Then I have this 3 of Cups. But the whole thing is, this environment, these people, these places have always left Scorpio with a fog around them, at odds ends on how to accept how they feel, how to be kind with the gifts that they've been given that's coming in, these empathic gifts, these gifts of being able to feel how these others feel. What else needs to come out? And not knowing how to explore this side of them. This was something that was definitely, they've been shut down on. They could still be getting shut down on it. What I could definitely say is, if you're an energy that holds a lot of empathy for others, if you can feel more than what others are even feeling within themselves, I mean, if you're feeling their truths before they can acknowledge their truths, it's very scary for both people, for yourself and for them. Because you got to remember, a lot of people want to live in a state of denial. Not many people want to acknowledge what is actually happening. They don't want to acknowledge the steps that they have to take to be able to move past it. I know if you're here You and I are like birds of a feather. So you'll probably sit here and resonate with the next sentence I'm going to tell you. You're probably going to remember having a conversation with somebody. And what you were trying to talk to this person about, whether it came down to health, family, personal life, and their struggles, when you try to highlight something that they really need to acknowledge, but instead they refuse to acknowledge it, because if they acknowledge it, that means that they either have to confront what's going on and what they're doing, or that means they have to acknowledge that they choose their suffering. They're choosing that life. And they need to get over being upset for the choices that they're making and just totally accept that that's where they want to be in life. It's hard, especially when you care about people so much, to watch them suffer, but also watch them live in a world of denial where they're only focused on what they're doing, or they're only focused on others. That's why you have to ask yourself, what is your truth? What is your truth? I always like to tell people, is anybody that you have close connections with, anybody that you let into your life, you are going to shoulder some of their suffering. How do you end up shouldering some of their suffering? It's because you care about them. Think about it. Think about how many times you received a call from somebody and they're stressed out, they're upset, and you have been in a fine mood the whole day. But as soon as they call you with their stress, then you start getting stressed out. You start getting worked up because they're upset. That is you shouldering their suffering. So the thing is here is, if you have people who keep making the mistakes over and over and over again, how much of your suffering do you want to shoulder? How much of their suffering do you want to shoulder is going to be the question. Because if they're not willing to learn, but they want to come to you always with their problems, then when do you start to be truthful with yourself and how this is affecting your personal life, how you're going about things, how your day is turning out? Because remember, we are all reflections. People are reflections of us, who we are close with, no matter how much we want to deny them. Why do you think we still care about them? Why do you think that we still deal with them? If this person is still a reflection of this Scorpio, these people, what is this reflection? Is it a past self that we haven't came to terms with? Is it a past self that we've always held back? Is it a past self that we blamed for the way that these people were? What is the truth here, Scorpio, of this reflection? Let's keep moving into this block here. Let's figure out what's going on. All right, so divine, and angels. Angels of protection, help guide us through this block for this Scorpio frequency. What is it that would like to come out for the block? First card up that we don't see is I have the Sun. In reverse, Soul of Self, Leo card. That is a self-sacrificing type of energy, the Lion's heart. That's what I feel with this. In one story with Leo, for their mythology, it talks about how a lion defanged himself and declawed himself to marry a huntsman's daughter. And after this, Leo rendered themselves vulnerable. The huntsman chased the Leo off. What are you doing that's rendering yourself vulnerable to where these people can go and start chasing you and trying to take your truth from you, in a sense? Not let you have your truth, I should say. What is it that they want to chase you away from that is the truth? What else needs to come out? Let's see. I have this King of Pentacles. What it is you have energies, people, places, or things that have been very withheld on how they actually are, their own stability. These people would hold themselves back from the potential that they could have had, which sat there and created an unstable environment. A kingdom that could have had a routine in it, but the routine could have been one that served everyone else but the Scorpio in this story. What else needs to come out? I have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse and Three of Pentacles. I feel like there's a big denial here. There's a denial, there's a fear of moving on, there's a fear of moving forward. There's a fear of being able to spread our wings. Being able to spread our wings and to give ourselves the fortune that we have within ourselves. What does that mean? Well, that could go into validation. That could go into being able to really get to know yourself. That could be actually coming to terms with what was happening, trusting how you felt, trusting how you still feel about it, trusting what your truth was to it. And being able to openly say that what once was not okay. Woohoo! What else needs to come out? What is it? I have the Temperance here. Have Temperance, Two of Cups, Prince of Cups, all in reverse. All in reverse. I have a Scorpio who goes against the higher knowledge that they have inside. They go against their gifts. This is what happens here, is they self-sacrifice their gifts in a sense to validate these others. Maybe it could have been how these others were, why these others were. And what it does is they tip everything to validate these others, but they don't validate themselves. If they do validate themselves, they validate that, oh, I was just young and immature. I didn't understand. That's what I get from this. I didn't understand what was happening in these partnerships with these others. You know, because I was too young to understand the dynamics and how things were going, when that is not the truth here. That is not the truth. A lot of times we want to mistake children for being naive because they don't think like an adult. But the thing is, a child could probably be smarter in a lot of senses when it comes down to trusting their gifts, because they haven't had society pound into them that no, you have to only think this one way. No, it's only this way. You know, you don't trust your intuition. It's not what you're feeling. It's what I'm telling you. Ooh. Oh, man. Oh, man. Somebody, what I get is the sense is they want, or they had Scorpio on some strings like a puppet. They wanted to tell Scorpio how to be, how to act, what to do, how to feel. But Scorpio is no Pinocchio. Scorpio is not a Pinocchio. It's not a Pinocchio energy at all. Love. So with this being here, this is the Lovers. This is communication. Whatever this taking energy was, it's able to capitalize on Scorpio through how Scorpio cares for things, what Scorpio wants to care, how Scorpio wants to care. The fact that Scorpio even shows up caring so much more than others. The fact that Scorpio is so driven through this passion of wanting to care for others, wanting to help bring blossoming, bring fullness, bring growth to others, maybe even help bring in a stable environment for others. But the whole thing is whatever it is, these energies here are always looking off into another direction. At the end of the day, Scorpio could run around for them all day long, and these energies would still stand there with their hands out to Scorpio, saying, I need more. More. And if you got energies like that, they will run you rugged. They will run you rugged. You don't know it, but your energy is actually feeding them. Every time you show up, every time you take time away from yourself to take care of yourself, you are depleting yourself for them. And I feel like this is something that has been a pattern in Scorpio's life for a long time. Having to show up for others. What else needs to come out? Justice in reverse and Princess of Swords. The whole thing is you're afraid to challenge. You're afraid to create that new direction here. And it's because you feel like you're gonna be unfair. If you go off in a new direction and you start doing more things for yourself, then it's gonna take away from these others. Then does that mean you don't really love them? That's what I'm getting there. You're really worried about if you were to take time for yourself, if you were to do what you want, what your truth is. You're really worried about taking some of that passion for yourself, the ways that you want to go, and how it will affect these others. Yeah. So I have a 7 of Swords and a Queen of Wands in reverse. You feel like if you let this all go, Scorpio, that you will be acting like a diva, that you will be this immature, combative, selfish, this unwilling energy to be open to others in a sense. You feel like you're gonna be very opposite of all that. You're gonna feel like you're being like a child. Like you just are throwing a fit. You want more. You can only see it this one way. It's like the child in this video, and this child was literally scared, and they're holding onto this rope. They have their legs up on this rope, and they're in the water, and they are scared of drowning. And this child is freaking out. They're crying, and I did not like this part because the parent is just recording them. And finally, an older sibling comes in and they handle the situation. They take that child's legs and they pull the legs down gently to where the feet are set in the water, in the sand, and the child can stand up. And then the child calms down. But the thing is, I don't see somebody here coming and helping you place your legs down to help you realize that what you're fearing is really just up in your head. But it's because of the reactions that you're having that is fueling the fear. It's you're overthinking about it. You're overthinking about what's going to happen. You're overthinking about what other people are going to view you as. But these people are always going to view you a certain way because you have to understand their truth is different from your truth. Let's go one last card. What is the last card here? That was interesting. I've never had my phone stop recording. So I hope all this comes together because it literally just stopped recording a minute ago. So I have a Pentacles and I have an Ace of Cups. There's a new offering that needs to be made. And it has to be made to self. Could it be a more developed view? A more kind, compassionate view? Maybe it's being able to see how your cup has been overfulfilled with always trying to fulfill others. And maybe it's now time to make a new offering to ourselves and how we want to fulfill ourselves. It's really hard, Scorpio, when you start to step into your truth. Who am I? What do I want to be? How do I want to be? How do I want to come into this world? One of the things we ask ourselves sometimes when we do that is, how do we want other people to see us? But the thing is, that is an unreal expectation. That's an unreal expectation is because we cannot govern other people's views. We cannot govern other people's experiences. We cannot govern other people's opinions of us, because that's all based on them. That has nothing to do with us. So just remember that when you're looking for your truth, when you're seeking out what your truth is. All right, so angels, ancestors, what is it that needs to come out? Well, first thing is you got to have faith. Trust in that intuition, the guidance that's coming in. Impatience. This could go one of two ways. It may be time to start making some moves. It may be time to start making some moves. Maybe you've been sitting down too long. Something that you don't want to see, and something that's going to be a hard pill to swallow for Scorpio, is this is a bittersweet lesson. A very bittersweet lesson here. Those two have to do with the throat chakra. This could be feeding the fear of speaking up, shyness, and social anxiety. Sitting here going off of what everyone else's truth is. Maybe, just maybe, when you start to step into your truth, you're gonna be able to have clearer communication, confidence in speaking. Maybe you'll find a new creative energy. Maybe there's going to be a new way that you're going to be able to express yourself. Let's go. All right, 2 more cards we have here. We need to balance this. We need to balance what we do for others and what we do for ourselves. Look at how many people are unhappy when somebody's trying to work on balancing themselves out. That's just what's going to happen. You're going to piss people off with your truth. But recovering who you are, what your truth is. What is the higher guidance that's coming in for you that wants you to heal? So that you can become a higher version of yourself, a more balanced version of yourself, is going to be the key here. Yes, look, there will be others who are going to be like-minded in this. They may not be in your immediate environment. They may not be in that immediate environment. It may take time to even meet them. But, this one goes here. They are out there. Don't feel like you're the only one on your own. Let's see. Yeah, that balances again more third eye chakra. Following that intuition. And then the recovery is going to be our crown chakra. Completion. Sacral chakra has to do with joy, passion, healthy relationships, and creativity. When it's out of balance, it's fear of change. It is also lack of creativity, emotional instability. And we're going to have some, I can't quite see it. What is it? Give me a sec. It's going to also bring on sexual dysfunction. That sexual dysfunction kind of comes at our vulnerabilities, I feel like. How people want us around, if people want us around. And I feel like when we heal this, it's not going to matter if they want us around or if we want them around. What we're able to do is we're able to put a cycle to ourselves that put our dependability, our value, I should say, not our dependability, but our value on ourselves, but it's through others, how others see us. And I feel like for the Scorpio in this story, you're going to have an epiphany that your value does not come from the opinions of others. It comes from yourself and putting to rest these opinions of others. All right, last card here for the Scorpio frequency. Passion. Passion, passion, passion. It's okay to have a big heart. It's okay to want to care for others. You could have responsibilities now that you're in a position where you care for others. Nobody's saying that you have to drop these others in order to find yourself. What is being said here is having faith in your truth, having hope, opening up to that innocent side to yourself, finding the strength again to push forward and understanding that your truth is valid, giving yourself hope. Once you give yourself that hope, miracles can happen. But we have to find the fun in life again to start making those miracles happen. You can't just sit here and say, oh, well, I'm going to try and do one thing a little different today, and then all my miracles should happen. No, you have to establish a routine. You also have to establish being able to have the strength to confront others when they try to diminish, dissuade, or even throw out what your truth is. It's one of the hardest things in life. You can get employed with places, you can be in families where they beat down what your truth is. And if you try and come up with your truth, then you are the bad guy. Even though it's your truth, you're allowed to feel how you feel. For myself, that was one of the hardest things, was coming to my truth. Who I want to be. How do I feel? What are these people making me feel like? And if these environments are truly for me. Now, I have people I still deal with that will try and tell me that my truth is not the right truth. And I can accept it. I don't take it personally because I've grown in a place where I can open up to understanding when people are putting blocks up to things that they don't want to acknowledge. And I understand now that that is their problem. That is not my truth's problem. That's not my emotional problem. That's not my intellectual problem. That is not my physical problem. But again, I understand whatever I let them put onto me when it comes to their stress, there's their truths, that I am shouldering a little bit of their suffering. But the thing is when you go against your truth, that's when they're able to put the full weight of their suffering onto you. That's how they're able also to siphon, to pull at your energy and keep a person running around like a chicken, with their head off. So, I think here the biggest thing for Scorpio is learning their truth and then building from there. That's the first step. Okay? So this is going to conclude it. Thank you so much for hanging out. And don't forget to thank your angels, ancestors, guides, as well as divine and universal energy for coming in for all the positive messages here. And I hope you have a most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.